Hello and welcome to Rule of Three's video review for Star Trek the video game by developed by Digital Extremes and published by Namco, not Bad Robot, and everybody else who's usually with J.J. Abrams and Paramount and CBS. With me are Impressions. How you doing today?
Doing all right.
And good old Synyster Dreamer. How you doing?
Not too bad.
All right, so let's jump right into this thing. So, the plot of Star Trek: The Game takes place between the last movie, the reboot of Star Trek, and Star Trek Into Darkness that comes out in let's see,
2 weeks.
Well, no, when this comes out, yeah, 2 weeks. So, in 2 weeks, it follows obviously the adventures of Captain Kirk, Spock, and Enterprise crew as they have to deal with the Gorn, a race of people. I'm not a Trek person, so I don't know a whole lot about the Gorn. But they are a parasitic race and turn people into their mind slaves, and they're like a lizardy. So anyway, and you're also trying to save New Vulcan. That's a big thing. Since the last Vulcan blew up, Vulcans are trying to start over on a new planet. There's a couple other things. On the whole, the story was actually okay. It was very Star Trek-y. I liked the voice acting because they got everybody from the movie in. And the dialogue we thought was really well written. But I know if you're a Trek fan, they did a couple of things with the Gorn that would probably tick them off. I'm not going to say what, but...
Yeah, well, that's always what they do with the reboots. They always change them up just slightly.
Yeah, but anyway, so overall, I thought overall it was okay. I thought they did a decent job with
I'm,
that.
I'm gonna say that any changes made to the Gorn is a result of the Romulan interference with the space-time continuum. So there's that.
Well, see, I would agree with that, but like I said, I was actually reading up on the Gorn while I was playing this.
Disagree with it. It's okay.
The change they made has nothing to do with the timeline change. It has to do with like the universe changing at this point, like where things are in the universe. So, yeah.
It's all those black holes that they made and
okay.
Up.
Okay, that's it. We'll deal with that. Problem solved. Star Trek. Okay. Anyway, what did you think? Sinister impressions about the overall story and plot and stuff. Impressions, go first.
Like you said, it's a transition story between 1 and 2, or the reboot and Into Darkness. I'm not sure how critical this will be to your understanding of Into Darkness. I'm inclined to think that it really won't matter.
It doesn't.
Yeah, that's why I thought this would have been better as maybe like a standalone comic, or maybe a short, or maybe even like an animated ancillary story. But it was very intriguing. It very much captured the essence of J.J. Abrams' Star Trek universe, the cinematics and the lens flare, etc. It's all there. So it's Trek quality, I would say. The story.
Yeah. Sinister.
Storyline wise, I didn't mind it. It was kind of nice. It was like, okay, in between the first and second movie, gives people something to do. Well, second movie was being developed and before it gets out. Otherwise, it's another Star Trek.
All right, so now we're gonna go straight to gameplay. Star Trek is a third-person cover-based shooter, so obviously the big thing in this game is obviously being able to take cover. I thought it was very clunky, the cover mechanic. I didn't think it worked very well. Sinister.
For previous experiences with other games that had cover systems, it was a basic cover system. You go up against the wall, and you press a button, you're up against the wall. Now, sometimes the AI wouldn't be as smart to get up on cover, but that's, cover system for you. It's never always been smooth.
Your impressions?
Like you said, it's basic. It handles all the functions that you would expect in a cover system. It's context sensitive. You can transfer between cover. In my opinion, they relied on it a little too much for too many types of sequences. They tried to use it as a component for stealth. They tried to use it as like not a mini game, but there was that part where you're just trying to avoid those sun flares, the solar flares. That seemed like a forced use of the cover system. And then there's its function as the actual shooter cover system, and I thought that was a little weak. It was it worked, but like I said, half-assed.
Okay, so now we'll go into phasers. So in Star Trek, you have your basic phaser. It has stun and kill. You can switch off with hitting a different button, does a different firing mode. There's a couple other guns you can pick up. I never did because I didn't really see a point to picking them up. And yeah, that's so. And in terms of phasers and combat and all of that, once again, it worked, but I felt once again it was just kind of like especially aiming. I didn't like the aiming reticle. I didn't think that was well done either. Synyster.
For a third-person shooter, it worked for me. It wasn't bad. I switched from I picked up basically the phaser rifles when they were on the ground because it figured, a rifle should be able to kill things faster. Which I found, picking up the rifle and fighting the Gorn, it killed them pretty quickly instead of having to sit there and pluck with the phaser and okay, die sometime soon. And the shooting reticle, actually, it didn't bother me. It was actually fine. It worked for me.
Okay. Impressions?
It was functional. I really can't say more beyond that because it brought nothing new to the table. It wasn't really revolutionary. That's all I can say.
All right. So the next thing I want to go into is the tricorder. The tricorder is the everything thing in Star Trek. It does everything. It's like the PS3. It does everything, except it really does do everything.
It's the closest thing humanity will ever come to a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah. So anyway, you can use this to scan things in the world, and it gives you lore and experience points, as well as show you kind of where enemies are, and gives you lots of information, and is a tricorder. I actually like the tricorder. I thought that was really fun to mess with, and I just like the idea of having the tricorder out to scan everything. I thought that was fun. Synyster.
Yeah, the tricorder being, Star Trek's, primary, little function next to the phaser. It actually really, I liked how it worked in this the game because it's like, okay, go into combat, you can get it open and, see where your enemies are at. Or, you're stuck somewhere having to flip levers or something, you can flip it open and it'll give you a path to tell you, okay, well, you need to go this way to go to it. And then you can get there. Either you have to figure out another route, or figure a way to get past whatever going on. And otherwise, the little functions that you upgrade with it actually are kind of fun.
Okay, impressions.
I agree. I think it was a good thing to bring into the game. It gave the game a good context, a good pretense rather, to show you where objectives are, or to show you what things are hackable, what things are accessible, because of the fact that you have the tricorder, and it's represented on the HUD that way. So I thought it was a good device to implement.
So next thing I want to go into is I talked about this is when you scan things and do fun things, you get experience points, and you can use these experience points to upgrade weapons, tricorder, communication, shields, and all that fun stuff. On the whole, it worked. It was very, very, very simplistic, but it worked. So I didn't have any problems with it. It was okay. Synyster.
It's an easy upgrade system. It's nothing too clunky and hard to understand. It's just, okay, here's your layout. You got your tricorder, you got your shield, and you got your phaser. Choose what you want to upgrade, and it kind of had a tiered system. So it's like, okay, well, the cheaper items are the the little things that you can get, but are needed. And then you get up into the higher items that it's like, okay, well, it does this, or powers up your phaser to do more damage or whatever. And it was very simple to understand and easy to deal with.
Impressions.
Same. Yeah, it's a basic upgrade system for your weapons. Keep killing stuff, you get better guns. Nothing more to it.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Next on the list is the Starship Battle. So every now and then, you actually take control of the Enterprise in space, and you shoot things with it. For me, I hated this with a fiery passion. I didn't think it worked well at all. It might have just been because I didn't, understand what was going on half the time.
Like usual.
Yeah, like usual. But yeah, I just didn't like it. Yeah, that's all I can really say. I didn't like it. Synyster.
I actually didn't mind the whole rail starship flight. It was like, okay, you're taking control of the guns and shields. Okay, enemies attack. Well, you attack back, and you can use the systems to figure out enemies' weak points. Shoot the weak point. Boom, ship blows up. Or use the shields to deflect incoming missiles or whatever. It actually was just a basic railgun shooter.
Impressions.
Like you said, it was basic railgun. It worked. I think it worked because that's how I actually picture Star Trek shooting. Because you don't, you're not so much taking control of the Enterprise; you're taking control of the guns. I think that's what you have to understand. Yeah. And based on that description, I think it works for what Star Trek, sometimes does cinematically. It's like a stationary ship. It shouldn't have to move around very often, like a small, like a TIE fighter, like in Star Trek. It's important that thing has mobility. Whereas the Enterprise, you're just this huge mass flying out in the air, and you have lasers that take care of everything for you. So I thought that fit in very well with the rail system.
Okay.
But it wasn't the best thing out there, but again, it worked.
Okay. So next is mini games. There's only a couple mini games. There's when you try to revive your partner. There's a small little mini game of button pushing. There's hacking, and I think that's it. There's I think 2 or 3 different hacking games that you can do.
Yeah.
With the teamwork hacking.
Yeah. Anyway, it was okay. I didn't like the having to revive them with the mini game. I thought that was kind of lame. Then
basically, reviving was more complicated than it should have been, and
yeah,
it was much easier than you would expect from hacking.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. That's exactly how I feel. Exactly like that. Synyster.
Maybe they switched it around. Maybe hacking is if hacking were reviving somebody and
reviving was hacking.
Yeah.
I would have been okay with that.
I found the revive is considering I didn't have to do it that often. I maybe had to do it like twice.
Oh, big man.
You'd be special.
Hey, I know my shooters. But anyways, revive. The mini game for it, if you call it a mini game, it was just okay. Let's see if you get it all the way around. Guess what? Your partner comes back up with full shields and health. If you don't get it, all the way, he comes back with partial life and a little bit of shield and could be taken out in like 2 shots. The hacking system, after figuring out what does what and which game comes up, it was like, okay, so there's your pattern one, or you match the lines. Okay, that's understandable. And then I think that the third one was when you have your partner with you and having to do lining up the wavelengths together to get the bar to go across.
I just guessed. I highlighted one, then moved the other one, and kept spamming X. It worked a lot faster that way. I guarantee you. It works faster than trying to actually match them up.
Yeah. The one that you have to match wavelengths, you could button mash and just line up and try to figure out which one's which. It was just like quickly I went through, sat one line and went through one and just kept going that way. Move one line, figure it out, move it down, go back again, do it in the same.
That's what I meant, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the last thing I want to go into is co-op. Star Trek is a co-op game. It is meant to be played with 2 people for the most part. I didn't play with a co-op partner. I played with an AI partner. I was Kirk. The AI was Spock. And in terms of overall co-op with the AI, I felt Spock was dumber than a piece of, I don't know, he didn't kill anything, and he died a lot. That's my experience with it, so I didn't care for the AI.
Did you play as Synyster too? Did you play as Kirk too, Synyster? Sorry, I mixed it up.
Well, I played as both.
Okay. I only played as Spock. Well, in my experience, Kirk was the one that kept dying and didn't do anything. So it's not dependent on the character. The AI is just probably crappy, right? I guess Synyster's in the best position to comment on that.
Which, honestly, it sounds like I've been having the better luck out of the 3 of us, considering it's like I never really had a problem with my AI dying. Things would die, and the AI was actually still pretty smart with finding cover, hacking, and because half the time I was always like, it's like, okay, Spock, go hack while I go kill things, or Kurt, go do this while I hack. I guess I just found the AI wasn't as dumb as certain AI systems I've come across. Because I've come across some games that it's like the AI system was like, what?
Far Cry.
Defiance?
I said Far Cry. Yeah, Defiance too, yeah.
Yeah, Defiance.
Defiance?
Yeah, so anyway, okay, so apparently, Impressions I just got crappy AI partners, and you got, the good one.
I don't know what my question is. What difficulties were you guys playing on?
Normal.
Medium, I guess. Use the easy, medium, hard skill, right?
Huh? I
Yeah.
guess maybe the AI gets smarter on hard.
What? That makes no sense. Okay, anyway, I don't want to get into that. That makes no sense. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to give our rankings now. So here at Rule of 3, we do not use a number system because numbers are, I don't know, useless to some extent, in my opinion, for rating stuff in this way. Anyway, instead we do a buy, rent, pass system here. Buy means we think it's worth whatever the sticker price on release is. The game's just that awesome and fun and enjoyable. Rent means, we thought it was okay, not the greatest, but, it's still fun, worth a play. Wait for it to go on sale or buy it used or rent it. Pass means shoot it into a black hole and hope that it's never seen again. Synyster, you can go first.
Well, I give this game a rent. It's a good basis and a little fun game to play, but honestly, it's not worth the full price. If anything, I'd pick it up when if Steam puts it on sale or I get like a discount coupon for GameStop. But it's still, in my opinion, it is a good game. But I'm not willing to chill out the $60 to get it.
Impressions.
I also give it a rent. Emphasis on rent. I would not spend money to purchase or own this game. Rent it if it's an option, because I am genuinely intrigued by the story. It seems very Star Trek. It seems like a good intermediary story between the reboot and Into Darkness. And I think any Trekkie would appreciate the game, especially just the fact that you get to do the Vulcan nerve pinch on somebody, especially if you stun them and then take them down. That alone might make it worth it. So
That and
it's worth a try.
And also, I kind of just put in the commentary. They actually caught the essence of Star Trek.
Yeah, the dialogue. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
It was a cast. It was the same cast. So
yeah, same exact cast.
That captured the spirit of the reboot, in my opinion.
Okay. And then, if you like Trek, it's definitely a rent. However, I'm giving it a pass. I'm not, like I said, I like Star Trek, but I'm not a huge fan. I did like the voice cast and the story for that. So, I mean, if you like Trek that, but I don't know, I had a hard time getting through this, and I kind of didn't want to play it after 5 minutes. I just kind of went, wanted to be done with it. Especially once I got to the starship, I just kind of said, screw this and finished. So, I give it a pass. So there you have it. Impressions and Synyster both give it a rent. I, Roy Manan, give it a pass. And that's it for Star Trek. Next week will be Deadly Premonitions HD. Synyster is taking it off because he has work and it's overwhelming him, so he's taking that week off. He'll be back for the next one, though. Make sure to leave a comment below to get some entries into the Last of Us / Remember Me giveaway that we're doing this month. Make sure to subscribe to our channel above, like us on Facebook and Twitter, sign up for our website newsletter or email alert thing that we have if you register for that. And tell your friends and everybody else about us. We want to grow bigger and have more people listen to us so we can give away more stuff and, get, bigger communities better for everybody, in my opinion. And that's it. So thanks for listening, and always remember to trust in the rule of 3.
And live long and prosper.
Yes, live long and prosper.